So there's 8.3 billion tons of plastic worldwide that we've somehow ended up with in the space of less than 100 years. Wait, what? And if you, like me, have recently fallen down a Spotify spiral of Chaperone and Charlie XCX, you might have forgotten that Plastic Free July is almost over. But why are we only talking about plastic in July? Plastic Free July in its earliest form was set up by Rebecca Prince-Ruiz in 2011 and has since grown into a global phenomenon aimed at envisioning a plastic-free world. The 2024 campaign rallies under the slogan, "Small steps, big difference," calling on those participating to eliminate one of the so-called top 3 sources of single-use plastic. Back in episode 1, we learned that 32% of all plastic worldwide ends up in the sea, 14% is incinerated, 40% ends up in the landfill, and only 14% is actually recycled. And this is obviously horrendous. The dangers of microplastics through land leaching, as well as those spread by the sea, are well documented. And as for burning plastic, this can affect both the wider environment, but also biodiversity itself from toxicity. And I do invite you to read up on all of the references in this episode to really understand how all biodiversity is affected. By candlelight, of course, because if you're living in Malta right now, you know that our electrical infrastructure is so good, you guys. All of this from plastic, which as we know it today, has only been around since the early 1900s. Recycling is not going to cut it, fam, because as we've seen consistently, most plastic simply is not recycled. And of the plastic which is recycled, that degrades every single time it goes through the process. Millions of people around the world, including governing bodies like the European Union, are taking steps to reduce single-use plastic. In 2021, for example, the EU passed the Single-Use Plastics Directive, which imposes certain restrictions on certain single-use products. Where a sustainable alternative is both available and affordable, single-use product cannot be placed on the EU market, allegedly. This applies to things like cotton buds, crockery, cutlery, straws, and balloon sticks. However, just because this directive is in place, it does not mean you should not be taking an active role when it comes to considering your purchases of plastic. You could reuse what you already have. Carry a reusable water bottle wherever you go so you can be that friend. Invest in a travel mug. You could avoid prepackaged produce. I swear to every deity out there, if I see another individually wrapped orange, you could choose plastic-free toys and so much more. You can find more resources on how to reduce your plastic consumption, as well as the transcript and all of the references used in this episode right up in the link in bio. Because remember, kids, when it comes to plastic, in the words of the great philosopher Charlie XCX, I think the apple is rotten right to the core.